Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Yahaira's Cozy Chapters. It is now a new month. We are officially in the month of April, and of course with the new month comes new books that we want to read, or books that we're anticipating, or books that we've been putting off that we finally want to get to. I normally struggle with giving myself a very strict TBR because I am a moody reader, and if I'm not feeling a book or if I'm not in the mood for a particular book, I will cast it aside and I may or may not come back to it, or it might just end up thrown under the bed and I will never find it again. But so far in this year of 2026, I've been doing really good about sticking to my TBR and trying not to veer off too much. What I find has been helping me stick to my TBR is getting many books from different genres and getting books that I know will kind of catch my eye and will keep me intrigued, or books that I know other of my friends have read or other of the content creators that I follow have read. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. I've already started one of my first books of the month called It's Different This Time by Joss, I believe. Yes, Joss Richard. I know it's more of a fall themed book and we are in spring, but after reading some kind of heavy books or books that make me think quite a bit and made me question a lot of the decisions that I've made, or have, just kind of made me go into myself and reevaluate a few things in my life. I felt like I needed something a bit cozier, and I needed something to just kind of cleanse the palate before moving on to another book. So that's why I chose It's Different This Time, and I'm about 320 pages in, so I'm really excited to get to the ending of that. I'll be sharing my reading journey. I've been vlogging my reading journey for that book, so that's super fun for me and exciting. So that's my first book on my TBR for April is It's Different This Time, and I will place that here so you guys can see, and then I will give you guys an update. The second book that I have is Red Rising. I've honestly had this book for years. Let me see, I'm trying to think how long I've had this book. I've had this book more than 4 years. How crazy is that? And my ex-boyfriend actually read it, and he was super into this series, and he tried to get me to read this book so many times, and it just didn't feel like it was for me at that moment. But now that I've kind of gotten more into sci-fi and post-apocalyptic books, I really want to give it another try. As you can see, I have a bookmark in here where I did give it an attempt, but didn't get too far. So I'm going to really dive into Red Rising, and I'm going to go into it with an open mind without any, ideas from other people that have not liked it. But I'm super excited that it's getting some more traction. I know Pierce Brown is happy to see his book on social media being talked about and how everybody's really enjoying the story. So I'm really excited for Red Rising, and the first book seems like it's a pretty quick read, and then if I enjoy it, I'll jump into the next book. And the next book, I know the next one is Golden Sun, and then Morning Star, and I believe there's a fourth or fifth now, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Iron Gold. So there's definitely at least 4 books. There's Red Rising, Golden Sun, Morning Star, Iron Gold, and there may be a 5th book. So Red Rising is one. I'm excited about that, by Pierce Brown. And then another book that I've heard great things about, and I haven't read Kristen Hanna in a while, and I just loved her book, Firefly Lane, and they even made a show of it that I binged, and it was so good and so emotional, and the characters were just amazing. And then I also read another one of her books called Winter Garden, which was my first book I read from her, and it broke me, but in all the best ways. So I know she's been putting out a few books in the past few years, and I just haven't made the time to jump back in. I think because I know that her books, typically have very heavy topics and are really sad, and they kind of put me in this mood. So I was kind of hesitant, but I think I'm ready to jump back into another one of her books. So I picked up The Nightingale, which my friend let me borrow, and once I read it, I will return it to her. And that's why I've kind of also put it on my April TBR, because I don't want to keep her book for too long, because I feel like if I do, I'm going to forget to give it back to her. So yeah, so Kristen Hanna, The Nightingale. Let's see, I know a little bit of what it's about. I know it's set in World War II times. Let's see, it says, with courage, grace, and powerful insight, best-selling author Kristen Hanna captures the epic panorama of World War II, okay, so I was right, and illuminates an intimate part of history seldom seen, the Women's War. The Nightingale tells the stories of two sisters separated by years, experience, by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path toward survival, love, and freedom. In German-occupied, war-torn France, a heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the durability of women. I can't talk today. The durability of women. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. So I do love Kristen Hanna. I know that this book is just it's gonna deliver. It's gonna deliver. So stay tuned for what I think of this. So that's my second TBR. And then I have my next one is Ali Hazelwood, Love Theoretically. So far, Ali's books have been kind of all over the place. I've read a few of her novels, and I feel like I like one, but I have yet to find one that really captivates me, or one that's just a hardcore 5-star for me. So everyone has been telling me I need to read Love Theoretically. I read The Love Hypothesis, and I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I wasn't fully invested with the characters, and I felt like it just needed more. So I'm going to give it another try, because I know a lot of people do enjoy her books, and I want to be one of those people. But then sometimes I find that maybe I'm a bit biased, because I used to work in the laboratory. I used to work in a laboratory, and I'm pretty well versed with science and all the things. And I feel like maybe when I read them, that's probably why it doesn't really pique my interest, because that was kind of real life for me for a long time. And maybe in my books, I try more to read books that I can escape with. But that's just a theory, but we'll see. So I'm going to try Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. We'll see how it goes. I'm going in, with an open mind as well. I'm going to try to not put the other books I've read by her as a negative veil while I go into this. So I mean, I love the cover. Look at that. That's like so cute. So I'm going to read this one. That's the third, or I guess fourth book on my April TBR. I just love that color too. It gives me like very springy vibes. And then to jump into some fantasy, we have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. And I have read The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. So this will be the duology from one of the characters. I believe it's Mitch. I call her Mitch in this novel. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I enjoyed her character in the other two books. And the other two books I read by Carissa Broadbent were 5 stars. Easy. They were action-packed. I was fully invested with the characters. It was not a dull moment in the slightest. So if you haven't picked up any books by Carissa Broadbent, I highly recommend that you do, because it's a wild ride and it's just a great escape from whatever daily things you have going on in your life. And the characters, and there's spice in it, and there's, like I said, there's action, and all the characters are just beautifully developed. So I'm really excited for this one too. My friend gifted me this one for my birthday. My birthday was last month, and she didn't even know that I had read the other 2 books, so I thought that was pretty lucky that she got me this one, because it has been on my TBR for a while. So that's going to be this, The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. Really, oh, did you see that cover though? Look at those gold, and then we have, I believe that's an arrow there. Oh, it's just a gorgeous cover. I love this. So this is going to be our fantasy read of the month. So far we have our romance, contemporary romance, we have our historical fiction, and then we have our science fiction, post-apocalyptic. Next, on our TBR for April, I have this one that I've also had for a while, and it's just been sitting on my bookshelf, and I keep telling myself, okay, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna read it. And I just never fully commit because some other books always catch my attention more. It's God of Malice, and I actually saw this one on one of my favorite content creators, which is Larry Reads. Larry, thank you for recommending this. I'm gonna finally give it a whirl. And I believe another book from this series, I believe by Rena Kent, just recently came out, and I think that kind of sparked an interest in me where I'm like, okay, well, if I like it and I binge the series, which I rarely do, but if I happen to binge the series, the other book is available for me and I won't have to wait. I really hate waiting. I'm a very impatient person. So yeah, God of Malice from the Legacy of God series by Rena Kent. I've heard nothing but great things. I do love a dark romance. Just recently, don't quote me on this, but about 2 or 3 years ago, I started getting into dark romance, and I will never go back. Dark romance just unlocks something in me that I really enjoy reading about. So let's see, it says, I caught the attention of a monster. Killian Carson is a predator wrapped in sophisticated charm. We love that. He's cold-blooded, manipulative, and vicious. Through his charisma and intelligence, fool everyone. I think I read that sentence completely wrong. Though his charisma and intelligence fools everyone, Glendon sees right through him. She sees the psychopath within, and though her brain tells her to run, there's a secret part of her that knows the monster will only chase her, and she may not want to get caught. Or she may want to get caught. I don't know why I can't read today, guys. Let's just pause here for a second. I feel like I just need another sip of my coffee. Luke's Gilmore Girls, if you know, you know. Alright, so here we go. Let's get this right. Glendon sees right through him. She sees the psychopath within, and though her brain tells her to run, there's a secret part of her that knows the monster will only chase her, and she may want to get caught. Glendon King has never felt like anyone's favorite. Her mother and brothers are the artistic talents in the family, and she knows she will never live up to anyone's expectations. But Killian, he has no expectations except that she is now his. It doesn't matter that their schools are rivals or that their families have been enemies since before they were born. Ooh, I love that. Their possessive, all-consuming desire may be able to drown out everything else. But can two people with broken souls truly repair the broken parts of each other's psyche? Can their dark and sinful desire overcome their history? When it turns out those pasts are more disturbingly intertwined than they thought, they may come out stronger, or it may be unraveling. They're unraveling. That just sounds like a ride that I want to get on, and I want to see where this goes. Right up my alley. God of Malice. I'm actually not. How many books are in Legacy of Gods? One thing about me, guys, I have commitment issues. If a book has a ton of books in a series, kind of deters me because there's just so many books to read out there, and just to commit to one series, I don't know, it just feels like a lot to me. All right, let's see. 5. Is there 5 books? 6. There's 6 books in this series. Are we for real? 6 books in this series. Whew. But I feel like I heard somewhere, or I saw somewhere on YouTube, that you can read them, that they're standalones, interconnected standalones. If that's the case, then I absolutely love interconnected standalones, because you don't feel that huge commitment of you have to keep going. I feel like I really struggle with that. Like with A Court of Thorns and Roses, it was so tough for me to continue on right away when I know I had so many other books that I wanted to get to. Okay, so yeah, we have God of Malice, which is the first book. Well, I'm glad I grabbed the right one first. And then we have God of Pain next. And then we have God of Wrath. And then we have God of Ruin, God of Fury, and God of War. Wow, guys, that's a lot of books. But hey, we're gonna dip the toes. We're gonna test it out. We're gonna see how it goes. That's the thing about me. I feel like I'm not gonna be too strict on myself. So if I read this one, and maybe in another month, I'll check the second one And if that one hits, cool, it hits. If it doesn't, then no hard feelings. A series that I started that I didn't continue was Flock. I had heard so many good things about it, and I wanted to love it, and I read it, and I just feel like I liked it, but it wasn't amazing to me. Don't come at me in the comments, because I know a lot of people loved it. I don't know, maybe the first one was just a little too slow for me. I wasn't really invested in the FMC. The 2 MMCs were pretty interesting, but I just never continued it. But that's just an example of how I can start a series and not revisit it. So I definitely don't want to do that with this series, so I'm going to give it my all. So, God of Malice, just to summarize, God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is going to be my dark romance TBR for the month. And then we have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. Oh, I love that. And then we're going to give Allie another chance, because I know a lot of people just love her books. So we're going to give it another go. Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. And then we have our historical fiction by Christina Hanna, because we love Christina Hanna and it's been a while since we've read her. And then of course we have Red Rising that I've had for years, and I think it's time to get it off my TBR. All my friends have been telling me to read it and read it. And here we go. We're going to read this one also. Larry is reading this right now with her husband, so that was another kind of a push that I needed to read this. And I know Bailey reads, also read this one, and I love Bailey and Larry's content, so here we go. If they love it, I'm 100% sure I'm gonna love it as well. A book that I don't have physically that I also want to read that hasn't come out yet is King of Gluttony by Anna Huang, and I'm a huge Anna Huang fan. That one comes out at the end of the month. So if all goes well, I'm also going to read King of Gluttony. Who knows? One of these books may not hit, and I'm going to be like, oh, we're just going to put you to the side, and then I'll pick up King of Gluttony, and maybe that one will get me out of the little slump, and then I'll jump back into another book. I know Abby Jimenez just had a release, which is the second part. I'm terrible at names, guys. But, what was the name of the other book? Was it The Night We Met? Okay, so The Night We Met is the second part of Say You'll Remember Me, if I'm not mistaken. So, I do want to read Abby Jimenez, The Night We Met, but I feel like I'm going to hold off on that one a little bit, just because I already know I'm going to love it. If that makes any sense. I know I'm gonna love it, and I really want to push past these books that I've had on my TBR for a while. And the Abby Jimenez books, I don't know, something about them just hit in the summer when you're on vacation, or when you're road tripping, or when you're in your backyard just relaxing with a margarita. Her books just hit. So I think I'm gonna put a pin in The Night We Met and try to get through these here. And I think that's a good plan. I think that's a solid plan for me for the month of April. March was great for me. February was great. January was great. So I'm hoping to keep the positive vibes going and the momentum going. Yeah, so those are all the books that I have planned for my April reads. Let me know if you've read any of the ones that I've mentioned, or which one you think I should read first. I'm kind of on the fence of which one I want to jump into first. I'm kind of leaning towards God of Malice or Red Rising. I'm not sure yet. Did I even read the back of Red Rising? I don't think I read the back of Red Rising, did I? Okay, so Red Rising, let's see. First book of the Red Rising trilogy, it says, his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love. Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. Oh, okay. Love that. For the first time, red will rise. So it's a pretty short summary in the back, but I love that. Seems like it's going to be a pretty entertaining ride, so I'm excited to get into that. But yep, so that's going to be our April reads. Thank you so much for watching my video. Stay along for the ride. See you guys soon.